Asli Sona, is the honeymoon phase over?
Like in a month I told him I'm going to marry you. And this guy thought I was absolutely banana. Took permission from my parents and then we went on a trip and then he proposed to me under the northern lights.
I feel like a lot of people are in long-term relationships. Either they get married or then they break up.
I realized that love, it's action. It is not an emotion. Why don't they teach us in our textbooks? We do not know how to navigate relationships.
I thought I'm going to die alone. I'm never going to be with anyone.
At the young age of,
of 30.
Yeah. Have you ever been on a dating app?
Sounding like a whole lot of bullshit. We try not to go to bed angry at each other.
Personally, I don't think that open relationships work.
People nowadays fear the traditional marriage. It can go from unhealthy to toxic to abusive.
It's modern day hope, na? My parents were on a train.
Like you didn't want to discuss your relationship. Is that true?
It was because I had not told my parents at that point of time. So I didn't want it coming out.
What about red flags for you, Sona?
Gaslighting.
There is no right age per se to get married, but there is an emotional age.
If you look around, the dynamics of relationships have completely changed. Love used to be simple, but now it comes with terms, types, and timelines. There was a time when marriage was seen maybe as the ultimate goal, but today, for many, it's become one of the scariest commitments. Dating apps have given us endless options, but more choices don't necessarily mean more contentment. In fact, it could be more confusion. We crave connection, but we fear commitment. We talk about independence, but deep down, we still want to be understood and loved. And as divorce rates rise and more people question traditional norms, it's worth asking, what really changed? Hello and welcome to All About Her, a space where we have honest and meaningful conversations about women's health, wellness, happiness, and self-care. And today, we're discussing the why, what, and how of relationships, why love feels different, what defines compatibility now, and how intimacy and marriage fit in to this new age of modern love. Joining us today are two incredible women who see love perhaps from two different lenses. We'll find out. First up, we have a very talented actor, entrepreneur, and one of the most, I think, honest voices in the industry. From redefining what strong female characters look like on screen to being fearless herself off screen. She's built a space where power meets authenticity. So please welcome Sonakshi Sinha.
Thank you. That was such a nice look. Thank you.
Someone who understands the science and the soul behind relationships. A trained psychologist and a relationship therapist, she's helped countless people understand love, intimacy, and the emotional patterns that shape connection in today's world. So we're very, very happy to have Kasturi with us. Thank you both.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah.
No, I'm very happy. And sometimes we have medical conversations about surrogacy and things that I'm learning about. I feel like this one, maybe I can contribute to spontaneously because I've been in some relationships.
Yes.
So I will start with you, Asli Sona, to say, is the honeymoon phase over?
I think with the right person, it just never gets over. I mean, I've been in this relationship for the last 8 years. I've been married for 1.5 out of those 8. And I'm still enjoying as much as I did in the first year. So I guess with the right person, it just kind of goes on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah. I feel like I should come to you now to ask if, because I feel like it's romantic in some ways. And I'm not giving my opinion as yet here because I feel like the idea of having an endless honeymoon period, is that something we should be aspiring towards, or are we setting ourselves up for disappointment?
There is no limit or cost to dreaming, so we can all dream all day.
Okay.
But definitely, romance has its ups and downs. It's not a linear journey. It is, sometimes we go through throes of, romance and passion. And then there are other times that are we are low, we are bored, we are sometimes getting the ick from our partners, right? The way they said something or the way their towels are everywhere, all of that. So I believe when we look at romance more as an ebb and flow, a wave of sorts, the honeymoon period never ends. So we can always get there at some point, but it does not have to be consistent.
Right.
And
100%.
that's not
completely
wrong.
agree with that.
Yeah. But how do you, how do you keep the spark alive? Like you said, it's been 8 years. and then marriage, and then typically, is there a sense of complacency after marriage, or marriage has not changed the dynamic at all?
I don't feel any different than I did before I got married, because I think more than anything, we've been really the best of friends. And I think with a person like that equation never changes, right? Like I always know, like even like if I'm talking about the honeymoon period and it's still going on and all, I don't mean that I don't have fights, I don't get irritated by him, or we don't have our silent periods where we're giving each other the cold shoulder. Of course we do. We're like a normal couple. But the fact that, in certain relationships, and I've been in other relationships where I've always felt like the world is crumbling down on me with one fight. But over here, I know that, okay, we're fighting right now, but I'm always going to go back to this person because this is my person, and things are going to be okay. There is no thought in the head of, oh, I'm going to get out of this, or I never want to see this person's face again. It's not that. So I think it's all about, every relationship is so unique to itself that you can't really generalize, I feel, for anyone. It's so individual to each person.
Absolutely.
And that's, but what you said, I think struck a chord with me, in that of course you fight, but there's a sense of that person will be there.
No matter what.
No matter what. I wanted to ask, because again, you've been, again, like Kunal and I were together for 7 years before we got married. My mother, of course, said, we moved in together, we lived together for 2 years before we got married, and she said, now he's not going to marry you, now you've taken away all the interest. So I was like, maybe. We were not actually so wrapped up with the idea of marriage also. Kunal said it's not so important. I also thought, okay, maybe it's not so important. And then at some point we said, since it's not so relevant, we might as well get married also. And there was a little bit of interest from other members in the family that acha bhi shadi kar lo type. So for you, was there, and my mother also said that men need a little push, otherwise it will not ask you to marry them. So I don't know what your experience was.
No, honestly, I think we both were in a place where we were definitely ready to get married. We didn't stay with each other before. We didn't have a live-in relationship before we got married. But we did travel a lot. So I knew what it was like to be able to live with this man, because there are certain things that I get very weirded out with. Like I like clean people, and I like
define clean people, because it's a spectrum.
I don't want to go to a room and like live like a slob with like stuff all over the place and stuff. So like there's little things you find out even when you travel with a person, and we're okay with that. And like I was really looking forward to getting married and then living with this person. So and I think the same goes with him. I think we really took our time. We also were dating for 7 years and then kind of took that plunge because we were actually enjoying the process so much, and then like he was busy with his work, I was busy with my work, everything was going along with everything else, and then finally it came to a point where, okay, now we're both ready and we're both in it for the long run, and this is what we want to do. And
so how do you decide that this is the right time, and who proposed to whom?
It comes to you. Like I would have definitely proposed to him if he wouldn't have proposed to me by then, because I don't see this as a guy should be the only one to propose to a woman. I don't look at it like that. I think I told him, I was the first one to tell him that I love him. I was the first one to tell him, like in a month I told him I'm going to marry you. And this guy thought I was absolutely bananas.
In a month of meeting
he thought I was crazy. In a month of meeting him, I told him I'm going to marry him.
And how were you so sure?
I just knew. I cannot explain it. I don't know what to say to you right now because I don't know myself, but I just knew. And 7 years later, we were married, and he took me. He actually did it the really correct way. Like he took permission from my parents, and then we went on a trip, and then he proposed to me under the Northern Lights.
How lovely
and it was insane.
What if you hadn't seen the Northern Lights then?
That's what he said. And he said, we'll see it. I'll propose to her only when we see the Northern Lights.
It's pretty elusive. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't.
And we went for a 13-day trip, and the first day we reached Norway. We saw the lights.
Wow.
And after that, we didn't see it even once.
Imagine. It's a sign. Kunal proposed to me under the Eiffel Tower. Even though we went to the Amalfi Coast, he said, nobody in India will know where Amalfi is, but everybody knows the Eiffel Tower, everybody knows Paris. So when I tell the story, I won't have to explain to them the whole story. I wanted to ask, I feel like a lot of people are in long-term relationships, and then either they get married, Kasturi, or then they break up. So why does that happen, that it's such a opposite decision?
Right, that's a great question, Soha.
Yeah, it's actually a good one. I never thought of that. Yeah.
So generally, with long-term relationships, there are two ways. Either we are in a relationship for like 2, 3, 7 years, right? And there is a lack of hard conversations. So we are there from a quantity perspective. We have been through life, maybe college kar liya saath mein, and you know, maybe we work in the same office, or maybe we do life together. But there's a difference between living life together. So the relationship might go on for like 7 years, 8 years, 10 years even. And then when the time comes to take it to the next level, which is like marriage, or like, you know, taking it to your parents and asking for permission and so on and so forth, the mind and the heart does not align, because it's not sure about the emotional safety that the person is going to give me. What if I am vulnerable, or I tell my deepest secrets to this person and they cannot take it? Or I have seen glimpses of them reacting in a certain way that scares me. I'm fearful of showing my real self. I have seen control. I have seen resistance towards intimacy or vulnerability in a certain way, and not just the physical kind, basically the mental, emotional kind, right? And then there are other relationships which go through a course of long-term dating only to explore each other consciously. So it might be that their first 2, 3 months, years are tumultuous. It's very chaotic. They might break up, go back again, which of course isn't a very healthy process, but that happens. It's very normal, like, you know, to, you know, just try and stay away because this person is triggering me, or I'm, you know, seeing stuff in them that scares me. And of course sometimes we also sabotage our own relationships that way, that you know, I'm getting too close and it scares me and I just want to, like, you know, take a step back, and that might continue for a while. But what is all of this doing? It's creating more vulnerability, more space, more conscious conversations, more talk around the heart and the brain and how we function, how our families functions, our expectations, and we're going so raw, so deep, so into each other. And that quality is what actually makes us believe that yes, okay, life will keep on happening, it will throw curveballs at us, but I can do it with this person, you know. So I think that's the difference. Sometimes it's just quality over quantity. Yeah.
You know, we were talking before we started recording, and you were saying how you have a background in fashion. And this came to you later. Cool. See? And then you were interested in relationships. So just a little bit, so, you know, we understand you a little bit. I feel like people know Sona, they know about the relationship. This is something that you've chosen to make your career. Why?
That's a lovely question again. And for this, I would like to read an excerpt from my book.
Oh, wow.
May
Okay.
I?
Yeah, sure. So this is called Red, Green and Beige.
Yes, red, green and sometimes beige, the ins and outs.
It's the flags
of a healthy relationship. Red flags, green flags, and the beige ones. The beige ones are the ones that give us the ick, but we survive through them. We are like, this is our partner, so chalo, theek hai, you know? Chalta hai. So, to answer your question...
When did you write this book?
Last year. It's been a year that it's out. Okay, I just want to make it brief, but I'll read this, okay? प्यार, इश्क और मोहब्बत, जो भी इनका नाम ले, पहले दिल को थाम ले.
Oh, wow.
This was my idea of relationships growing up. And of course, Shah Rukh Khan coming back to Kajol after days of being MIA and romancing in yellow fields was a visual that became the epitome of what a relationship looks like. Naturally, the visual became an emblem of romance for me too. I tried to emulate this ideal in my first few serious relationships, only to find them ending in failure. I ended up either with a broken heart or being cast as the villain. This was not the love I had imagined. It certainly wasn't what they showed in the movies. What the hell was I doing wrong? This question saved my life, even though I asked it quite late. But as they say, der aaye durust aaye. I am a hardcore romantic, and this question of what am I doing wrong is what made me stumble upon relationship psychology and the importance of it in all of our life as human beings. When I first forayed into the subject, I was kind of appalled that why don't they teach us this in our textbooks? Because we are social beings, right? No man is an island, whether it's platonic, whether it's romantic, whether it's the relationship we share with our parents. We do not know how to navigate relationships because there is no theory or education around it. Whatever we are doing, we're just winging it by looking and modeling. And we are seeing, oh, our parents share this bond, my brother and his girlfriend share this bond. So maybe that is what ideal relationships look like. Right?
And that's something I want or don't want at all.
Yes, yes. So it is so limited and so, I would say, biased in a way, right? That we just unconsciously become conditioned to think a certain way when it comes to relationships and their expectations. So that is how my foray into psychology, into relationships began. And since then, you know, there's been no stopping me. I continuously talk of love and building conscious relationships and helping couples, especially in today's age, to keep relationships alive in the most honest, authentic way possible. And
now I would come to you a little bit about what kinds of troubles people come to you with. And,
absolutely.
Because you mentioned love and because you mentioned Bollywood, makes me naturally turn to Sona and ask, are you a romantic, and were you at all into the idea of romantic love in the way that they show in the movies? What is love for you? It's a cliched question, I know.
I don't think I look at love from that perspective. Movies was not something that I...
Do you like watching romantic movies?
Yeah, I do. I enjoy them. But not because, oh, I want this kind of love or that kind of love. I've always been a person, very invested person. So if I'm in a romantic relationship, I'm very invested in it. Like my world starts revolving around the person I am with. And honestly, not everybody is able to kind of take that, you know. Yeah, a lot of people get thrown off. A lot of people get taken aback a little bit. It takes time to adjust to it. That's why I'm saying, like, until it's not with the right person, like this is a person I found out who was taking all of that and giving me more back in return, you know. So I was like, whoa. Suddenly hit me like a truck, and I was like, okay, this is nice, and this is how it's supposed to feel like, I'm guessing. And I think that's why it's also stuck, when you can always find someone who reciprocates your emotions and your feelings and your crazy. And that's very important.
I think it's right to find your person and who can handle your crazy.
Of course,
And
instead of crazy to not be crazy.
Who's crazy you can handle.
And who's crazy you can handle.
Together and have fun with it. I think that's a nice way to look. So that is now my ideal love to be in, you know.
Is there a definition of love that you subscribe to, in terms of, for example, I'm talking, there's definitions of love, there's stages of love, there's stages of relationships also. But for the stage that Sona's at, I've been married for 10, 11 years now. Do you advise people on how to keep the spark alive? What is the number one thing that people come to you with in terms of the women in relationships?
I think love, specific definition of love, no. Love is very unique. And mostly, I would say, from whatever work that I have done with people around the world today, I realize that love is a verb. It's action. It is not an emotion that we wrongly subscribe to as a notion growing up, or, you know, in our teenage years, looking for the perfect person in relationships. You have to show up every day with an intention and choice that I'm going to love this person.
Yes, it's a decision you make.
It's a decision every day, because this person is going to come to you, trigger you, say something that you don't like. They are going to do that, and nonetheless you choose to love them and not just be like, oh, okay, I'm out. Let me go to somebody who's better. You know? So love, honest, authentic, conscious love is definitely a choice. It's an action. It's a verb, right? Stages of relationship is also something you spoke of, and I'd like to say that it's very interesting how a relationship progresses over time. Ideally and generally, when we speak of relationships, there are 4 stages of a relationship. First, we start off with the chemistry that happens, the serotonin, the dopamine, that, you know, the mashup of all of the chemicals when we meet the right person with the right kind of chemistry, right? So that happens. And then comes seeing the reality for what it is. When the emotions, when the chemicals kind of, you know, go down and we are on a, I'm like, okay, now my rose tinted glasses are clear tinted glasses, and I can see that the person is, okay, not as good as I was thinking, because in the first, you know, first few months or years, and there's no definite period to this, but definitely the first few years, I would say, where the chemicals are like, in overdrive. When the chemicals wear off, we see the person for who they are, and we are like, okay, I don't like all of them as we thought, right? There are parts that, bothers me, the beige flags or the icks that we get. We see them for what they are. And then I think the most important part is the third stage, where we start doing the work. This is where love now becomes a verb, where I say I like this person and there are certain common grounds, values matching, vision of life matching, all of that is happening. So I choose to make this my person. And then together we start doing the work. That's the work stage, third stage. And a lot of couples give up in this third stage because it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
And time has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It doesn't guarantee that, you've been in marriage for 20 years, or the work is done.
No.
Honestly, the work is never done in a certain way, right? Maybe the intensity of the workload increases or decreases, but work is never done. And that's what makes relationships such a breathing, ever-evolving entity. It's like, alive, right? It's not a passive thing, it's alive. Yeah. So that's the third stage where we do the work. And the fourth stage is the maintenance, where we have sorted out the kinks, or we have come to certain adjustments and compromises, and we don't question the same things again and again. We have come to certain conclusions. Maybe it requires acceptance, maybe it requires just more fights to kind of come to a conclusion to, whatever it is. We have sorted it out to a certain extent so that we can now maintain whatever we have created. So ideally, these are the 4 stages that every relationship usually goes through.
Right.
Right.
I'm assuming that one should be in the third stage when they decide to get married.
That would be lovely, actually. But
you
most people...
the third stage, no?
You've crossed the third stage?
Yeah, long back.
You're on the maintenance phase now. Okay.
I'm put work in every day.
Yeah. But you said it's evolving. You must, I'm thinking about me, when you were 20, you had a different idea of love, or have you always been the same person?
I feel I've always been the same person in love. And in my entire 20s, I feel like, learn from your mistakes, girl. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But then there are some things you just can't change about yourself inherently.
Yeah. But did you choose the wrong kinds of people?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I chose the people who I was not as compatible with. So, I guess there's no right or wrong about it.
No.
I mean, you have to kind of...
and sometimes there's a reason that you...
Yeah, and
honestly, you find the right person.
Like this happened to me when I absolutely stopped looking for love. I thought I'm going to die alone. I'm never going to be with anyone.
At the young age of like...
Of 30.
That's
30.
it.
I was like, oh my God, there's nobody in this world for me, and I'm just going to die alone. And I was like single. I was not even looking to, date anyone.
Because there's immense pressure also, Soha, of the outer
I was just
world.
like, nah, I'm just going to be by myself, and I'm just going to be happy, and I'm going to do my work, and I'm going to concentrate on that. And that is when this guy he fell into my life. Like, I don't even know from where. And he's the kind of the idea that I had about love and the kind of person I want to be with, he did not meet that at all.
Yeah.
How interesting.
The first thing I noticed about him, he wears earrings.
Yeah, so you had a kind of mental checklist.
I was so appalled. I was like, there's no way I can be with a guy who wears a Bandra boy who wears earrings, okay? But like...
There's something beyond
There's something beyond that. And the comfort that he made me feel, the fact that I could just speak to him about anything and everything. We had a lot of commonalities, a lot of things in common that we could talk about. And in general, like the friendship that we struck was immediate and very deep.
Yeah.
So I think that is what kind of, just...
cemented your bond.
Yeah, absolutely cemented it right in the beginning. And within a week, I told him I love him. And in a month, I told him, I'm going to marry you.
And what did he say?
So when I told him I love him, he laughed in my face. And
kindly,
he laughed in my face and he called up his best friend and he said, listen bro, I think she's gone mad. I think she's like I don't think she knows the meaning of love. I think she's very deprived of love. She's telling me she loves me in a week. So they had a good laugh about it. He came and told me this later, but he laughed in my face basically. And then when I told him I'm going to marry him, he again laughed in my face, but he was nicer about it. He was like, he entertained me. He didn't be like, oh, what are you talking nonsense?
Yeah.
He was just like, okay, we'll see. We'll see about that.
And then how long did it take for him to catch up?
I guess 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, that's not
Oh, okay.
He was, in it to win it.
We said it's challenging and relationships are work. There's different kinds of relationships, different kinds of marriages that exist. And I'm learning lots of words, polyamory and situationships. There must be all kinds of people in relationships, different kinds of relationships to come to you also, not just the conventional marriage, and different strokes for different people. But why do you think that it's becoming a sort of broader, more diffused kind of situation? It's not just the conventional form of marriage.
People
anymore.
are willing to explore and,
And like I went to, sorry to interrupt you, but I went to one therapist maybe 3 years ago, and she said that personally I don't think that open relationships work. I think it's a bit of a sham. So I wanted to ask you your take.
Yeah. I couldn't agree or disagree to that statement, but I believe people nowadays fear the traditional marriage. The woman of today's world has evolved rapidly. Honestly, men did not go through this kind of evolution in a way, and they still are trying to catch up with it. I wouldn't say they do not understand it, but they are trying.
But what do you mean in terms of evolution of the woman?
Right from what marriage used to look like, sending the girl off to a different family so that the mummy papa need not bother about the girl anymore.
So she becomes someone else's financial and other
Financial and other kind of burden, right?
Burden.
From that to women actually choosing consciously, that started off, choosing their own life partners, getting out of toxic, abusive marriages, being single moms and, parenting an entire family alone, to being the financial provider of an entire family with like 2 children, school, tuitions, extracurricular, all of that, the woman role has evolved tremendously. And we as women too, I feel like, sometimes are still like, catching up to certain meanings and what am I expected to do as a modern woman today. And while that has changed, it has also affected the normal marriage, the traditional concept of marriage. Because somewhere with the authority and power the woman brings in, it depends on the other party of how they welcome that authority and power. And a lot of things that we don't understand, we resist, right? So the other gender would default, as a default mechanism, kind of go back a little, being like, oh, this is new. Oh, okay, this is too rough. Or, oh, what, right? So when that happens, the dynamic of marriage and the balance, and it's a delicate balance, that again, why we say that love is work always, because we are trying to strike that balance now of harmony, of emotional safety, of trust, and all of that. Every day we are trying to do that, right? So over a period of time, when these small hurts, the woman also notices some stuff, the man also feels, slighted or whatever, maybe like, threatened in a way. Small paper cuts or small hurts happen over a period of time, right? And that challenges the definition of what a traditional marriage or what traditional gender roles are, what they look like. It challenges that concept entirely. In the newer generation, we have more autonomy, we have more authority, we have more options, we have more choices, we have more financial independence. We, as the newer generation, would want to explore. The internal intention is to find love, honestly. That is what I would think, even in a polyamorous situation, even in a non-monogamous situation, even when people, want to have an open relationship, the idea at the end of it, the inner desire of the subconscious is always कि मेरे को कोई ऐसा बंदा या बंदी मिले जिससे मेरा हमेशा चल जाए, अब कोई टेंशन ना हो. कोई दूसरा चीज नहीं सोचता, honestly. Maybe they are not conscious about it and maybe they are scared of their inner deeper thoughts of how much love is a requirement for us. Right? But that is why there are different avenues. But honestly, from a open relationship or a polyamorous point of view, again, polygamy is not legally recognized in India. So of course it's unlawful to do that. And for open relationships...
No, I mean, of course, marrying different people, but I'm talking about just polyamory, of like having different relationships and being in love with different... Because I think like monogamy is very challenging.
It is.
And to be in a monogamous relationship with the same person for a period of time, and now marriage, of course, is lasting longer because people are not dying so early also. So you're not, at some point people died at the age of 40. Now people are living till, 70, 80, 90.
Yeah.
So then you have to be with the same person for even longer.
Yeah.
Who was dying at 40?
In
All
like
women in
Jane Austen,
childbirth.
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That used to happen. No?
Yeah.
And from cholera and typhoid and all of those things.
Now we have antibiotics and other things. So now you have to see the same face for a few more years. So that's why it becomes even more challenging. So I feel like also this 7-year itch, which, you've already been through 7 years, but I don't know if it becomes more itchy when it's, husband and wife.
No, I think, like I said, it's just so unique to each person and each relationship. I feel I had a 3-year itch. I had a phase just when we were 3 years into the relationship where we were just wanted to pull each other's hair out. And no matter what we did, we just couldn't kind of understand the other person's perspective. And but we knew in our hearts that we have to make it work somehow. And we did actually do couples therapy. And it was Zahir who suggested it. He said, I want this relationship to work no matter what. So I've heard about this, let's just give it a shot. And I was open to it, and I'm glad I was, because I think 2 sessions and we were just back on track, and it just helped out so much in understanding the way the other person thinks, and what they're saying is not what they want. And what the way they're saying it is not these small things, not to take certain things personally, to understand where the person is coming from. A lot of different factors came into play in just helping us understand each other so much better. And 2 sessions, like literally that's all it took.
It's true, because that counseling gives you certain tools. And if you can remember, especially in moments when you're triggered, to just either walk away or to calm down or to not use certain triggering words, because this word is harmless to me, but it's triggering to my partner. Then you find a replacement for that word. And communication, I think. But I think what you said is most important, is that you have to want to make it work.
Exactly.
And both of you have to want to make it work, right?
Yes.
Or is it okay for just one person to make it want to work?
Definitely not. And that is where the balance goes for a toss. And very quickly, it can go from unhealthy to toxic to abusive.
Absolutely. And those flags, which now at least people are aware of and talking and calling out, and a lot of things we don't even realize are flags and patterns of behavior. And as you said, that slippery slope I will come to. But I wanted to touch on the fact that you have spoken about your relationship. I think it's wonderfully inspirational also. I'm a romantic. I'm in this long-term relationship. I understand that it's work. But I feel like it's worth it. And that person is certainly worth it. That unit is definitely worth it and worth fighting for. There was a time when you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but were not, like you didn't want to discuss your relationship. Is that true? And if so, then was there a reason behind that? Is it just because of work and films, or?
No. One reason was that, of course, because of work, and when you're a female artist especially, a lot becomes about your relationships, who you're seeing, who you're dating, where you're going, who you're spotted with, more than what work you're doing, and which is why I wanted to be spoken about for my work and not my relationships, because I work very hard, and I did not want that to get diluted by something like this. Also, another reason I didn't want to speak about it was because I had not told my parents at that point of time, so I didn't want it coming out in the news.
In that way,
right?
Wait, how many years have you not told them? And then
so I hadn't told them for about 3 to 3.5 years.
And how does that work? How do you manage to keep that?
I mean, I don't know. There's a little bit of a charm in kind of hiding and sneaking around.
I feel like they know.
They know, but like, until you don't go and tell them, until you don't go and actually tell them, then they're like, हाँ ठीक है, मैंने सुना है, and they suspect and all, but like you've not addressed it. So then now how can they come and tell you? So we did, and then again we also kept it under wraps because. We were still, kind of figuring things out with each other. So I think it's okay. Like I said, every relationship has its own journey as well. And ours was quite a fun one.
It's a whatever we've seen. I'm sure it was fun before. Also the parts
very fun. I think all of it is coming out now, no? Because it's like it's so official now.
And I think, I mean, again, I'm just giving you my opinion, but I feel like it's lovely that it is. And I know, and I wanted to ask you from your perspective as a therapist, especially in our industry, there is a sense of when do you make it official. Of course, to parents, everybody, there's a time before you make it official, and relationships, you have to figure it out personally before you make it public.
Correct.
But is there a time when you feel like if it is private for too long that's a problem? And I'm trying to frame this question in a more articulate way, but like the secrecy sometimes behind a relationship, can that be damaging to the relationship or one partner in the relationship?
I love that you're asking me a question about privacy and, you know, the concept of when to make it social, because so many couples in relationships or when they are dating struggle with this now because we are all living in such a social media age. Nothing is private anymore, honestly. Everything leaves a digital footprint. You check in, XYZ people get to know, you know, there's an entire hawa around, like, you know, how much are you out there? Or how much are you not, and why are you not?
And why are you not?
But a lot of people also equate that to the seriousness of the relationship.
Which is not a
you're not
correlation.
posting with me, that means that you're not serious about me.
That is what, right?
I'm saying even after marriage, like there'll be times when I'll be like, Kunal, why have you not posted any pictures of me? And he's like, are you crazy? Like that doesn't. And then it's like, oh, and then he'll send me like a little, what are they called? Like those things on a DM that say, you know, so if you don't post about your wife, that means you love her more. It's like that relationship is like more serious. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. Is that true? I don't know.
No, so a lot
Does my husband love me even though he doesn't post about me?
That's a question for your husband.
We need Kunal on the show so we can ask him this and like grill him. Okay. But yeah, coming to your question, yes, people struggle with not showing your partners enough, and then there can be also something as so many couples are out there showing themselves and their couple rendezvous on the gram or on like any kind of social media, that other people who are not having that same experience have FOMO about their own relationships. Around, kya mera relationship acha nahi hai? Yeah, why are we not doing that? Right? But we forget that a relationship has so many facets and we are just seeing one facet. You know, on social media, there might be so many other things that, you know, we are missing out on the couple's life. And that does not equate to the quality of the relationship, on how much they are out there. But to add to this, I feel like sometimes secrecy can also take a wrong turn. So for example, like, you know, we might have all experienced this, koi na koi hamare circle mein hoga, friends mein honge. When they get into a relationship, they are just MIA, just gone.
Yeah, that was me.
Also,
all my friends are like,
right? So sometimes what happens is very important to strike that balance very early on. Because then what happens, you might or might not relate to this, but usually when we go MI like that and, you know, we are clinging onto the relationship way too much, then that becomes our entire support system, our entire pillar. And over a period of time, it's not realistic. A husband, a partner, a boyfriend, or like, you know, our partner in general cannot be our entire support system. We need friends for a reason. We need mentors. We need parents.
100%.
Right?
I'm feeling like my old therapy session is being revived. We're doing a revision right now.
Yes,
because
friends
this is
are
exactly
important.
what happened. I was so like dependent on him and into it, and he's such a self-sufficient person, you know, like he's very social. I'm not that social, so he was okay with having the relationship, and he had a world of his own. I had
so
the
he was more
relationship, and I
fulfilled maybe in
was
a
only
way.
into the relationship. I used to forget. My friends used to complain. All of that used to happen.
Is that a woman thing?
I don't know.
Is that a woman thing?
No,
I feel like
because now I'm consciously not like that. Now I love my relationship, but I do have a world outside of it as well. I have my work, I have my friends, I have my family, I have everything. And it's all a good balance now. But it took some help to kind of reach that place. It didn't happen.
It was just like, you know, it was just waiting for you to be aware of it. And then once you were aware, you could change it, right? So that way. So sometimes, you know, secrecy also plays a damaging role. Where, you know, what happens is you're isolated, and a lot of abusive or narcissistic relationships operate that way. For example, like, you know, the partner who was the narcissistic one, for example, would isolate the partner being like, you know, I should be your center of world. And ये भी difference है ना कि for you guys it was a choice.
Yeah.
For some people it's a command. It's like, you know, you have to do this.
Right.
Right? So then already unhealthy, you are isolating yourself, cutting yourself off, you have no support system, you have no external advice or
frame of reference.
Yeah, perspective to actually, like, you know, build more clarity internally. And you keep on falling into that loop. So sometimes, you know, I would say when your friends are completely MI or you feel like they have changed and it's a relationship that's doing that, keep checking in on them. You know, sometimes they might not respond back. Don't take that personally.
Yes.
ठीक है, friendship है ना?
Yeah.
Go the extra mile to do that in a way. And see, like, you know, maybe sometimes just a knock or just like a nudge can really help a person.
Absolutely. I think that's very good advice, especially for my friends. Don't give up on me. Especially then it became when I had a daughter. Then I was in love with my daughter. So I think it's just me. Because when I was like, hey, I'm still here, remember me? I need to get more balance in my life. I will, again, red flags are, I mean, red flag, green flag is a question I want to not forget. But before that also, because we touched on marriage and the right age and the right stage perhaps to get married, if it's the stage 3 in a relationship or not. We can marry men who are younger than us. And is there any formula? And
we can marry anybody.
We can marry anybody. And when is there a right age to get married?
There is no right age per se to get married, but there is an emotional age that needs to be at the right spot for you to get married. When you realize that your marriage is not a reaction of external things that is happening around you, and it's more of a response that you consciously desire to build your life with somebody or to do life together as a vision with somebody, get married. But don't get married because my best friend ki bhi shaadi ho gayi hai.
Yeah.
She was only 27.
Yes.
That's, I think.
Your best friend was only 27?
No.
It sounded very real.
Yeah, she actually was 28. That's why not 30. I was feeling like There was no pressure for you though? No. I was one of the lucky few where I did not have that pressure from my family. Because they see I was very invested in my work. I was having a good time. I was doing well. You know, all of that. So I think, and my parents knew that I'm my own person and I will take that call when I feel I'm ready.
And they trust your decisions generally in life?
I hope so. I sure hope so. But I would say, they do now.
You know, also because, you know, you were working, you're financially independent. I feel, and you know, we're talking about the fact at some point, it was a financial impetus to get married for a lot of people with daughters. Now, if you take that out of the equation, for some people it still is a reason to get married. But for some people, it's not. And if we're talking about modern relationships in cities like Mumbai, I have a lot of single friends, women in their 40s now, who I don't know whether they want to get married or not, but they don't want to settle. And they don't need to settle because they have money, they have careers, they have friends, they have sex, they have fulfillment. So what is the need to get married? So is there a need to get married? Is it okay not to get married? Do people who get married, you know, at some point they feel like there's a natural progression in your life? Like, you know, you become 18, you go to college, you meet someone, at some point you get married, at some point in the marriage also, typically, and correct me, conventionally you have a child. So these are stages maybe when you do things such that you don't set into some kind of stagnation. It gives the relationship a different twist.
Or so also to save the marriage sometimes.
To save them and just do something new happens. You know. Do these things still hold true? And the fact that now women are financially independent, is that changing the game?
Marriage is a social institution. There is no hard or fast rule that, you know, you must get married. But when it's a social institution, a lot of people follow it. And when a lot of people follow it, you evidently get caught into that loop of, I also should do this, right? And a lot of people now are free thinkers. They have the independence to be free thinkers, and good for them. Until and unless they want to, I feel, raise a child together, I don't think marriage is important anymore. It's better to have a fulfilled life with no partner, multiple partners, whatever it might be, than to have a bond that's for society or, you know, a typical commitment bond that kills you every day a little, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I definitely advocate, if you want to have children, a mother and a father, or like a masculine and a feminine energy, is definitely required in that equation, that parenting. And then I think marriage can really help, because it creates a certain sense of stability, a certain thing the child can come to, because children are very, malleable beings for a lot amount of years, for like around 8-10 years, where their first beliefs start completely forming. They require the regulation that the father can bring into the equation. They require the care that the mother can bring, and they require that positive modeling of relationships that they see from each other as husband and wife, and mother and father. So I believe that's in modern times, if you want marriage to be important, it's only important in that scenario, and you need to believe in marriage to actually make it work.
Right.
Again, not as like a peer pressure thingy, or just like as a social institution
that you should be doing.
Right.
So Mamdani, new mayor of New York, everyone is of course going crazy. He married somebody he met on a dating app, on Hinge. Have you ever been on a dating app?
No.
What's the Raya is the one for
I've never
celebrities. I think I've been in serial relationships, one after the other, and haven't also been on a dating app. I've been told every app is a dating app by somebody the other day. Every app is a dating app. So you must be meeting a lot of people who are in modern young relationships. What is your thought on dating apps? Do you think somebody can form a real connection?
I know people who've gotten
online?
married after meeting
Same.
on dating. I mean, you just gave Mamdani as example.
I mean,
I know, I have friends who actually know.
Like we know
and and like they are very, very happy together. So I don't think it's not possible.
Sona has already advocated for dating apps. I second her. I love dating apps, honestly. I think in today's generation, in today's time and age, they are the best way you can meet people. Also because your entire circle is so small. You have, and post-COVID, people have just work from home pajamas, doing Zoom meetings.
That's true.
I was also just encouraging a friend of mine to get on a dating app, because now she's gone through a divorce, and she's she's not been able to meet anyone in the last 2 or 3 years that she's been out of her marriage. And I'm like, why don't you just go try it? There's no harm. And I gave her the examples of the friends that are now married with kids and very happy together. And
but are there things that we should be on the lookout for on a dating app?
Careful,
Maybe meet in a public place for the
definitely. I feel like So I was never succeeding on dating apps.
No, hopefully I won't have to.
You don't have to, but if you were, I feel like you would have just deleted it within 3 hours.
I'm not kind of face to face.
Even it's not something that I ever see myself
using,
doing. Even if I was when I was single, I don't see myself doing it. But I'm not completely against
the idea.
Never say never.
So I feel like
now I don't need I have a date for life.
So as we're talking about dating apps and the entire Zohra Mamdani's example, I feel like people are only romanticizing this particular couple also because that fulfills their internal fantasy, that it can happen for them through a dating app. Kitna acha lagta hai dekh ke, So that really helps you, and that's hope. And that's why I say with any kind of relationship, a person always internally, if you're going into a relationship intimacy thingy, you always have a hope that you will meet your person.
It's modern day hope, na? My parents were on a train. Now imagine thinking today, you met the person and you got married to them.
They were not introduced to each other
No, they literally met on a train. My mom was crying somewhere, and my dad saw her and he thought she was the most beautiful person in the world. And
how romantic is that?
So imagine today if I told you I met a guy on the train and you think I'm crazy. So I think that whole notion of love, finding love, and ways to find love,
and also
it just evolves with time.
It does.
So what that day's train was is today's internet, I guess. So
correct.
I mean, there's a whole evolution of everything that's happening.
Definitely.
I want to come to the red flags and the green flags because I feel like some people might benefit from us spelling out a few. Of course, it will be personal to personal.
Yes.
And your green flag might be a beige flag or whatever for someone else. But we're constantly building relationships. When you're in a relationship with someone for a long period of time, the things that you see through your rose-tinted glasses, then you take them off and then you start to get annoyed. Very normal, as we know. It's also okay to have fights and to walk away. Are you the kind of person who walks away? You like to fight, and it's like I need you to understand me. You've misunderstood me. Listen to me, and I keep talking. And Kunal will be like, just go away for some time. Give me some space.
It actually depends on my mood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it depends on mood. Certain days I really want to get into it because I know I'm right.
I don't know I'm always right.
Yeah.
Like you just have misunderstood me.
There are some days where I know I'm wrong, so then I'll just like talk to you later. Yeah, you know.
And you're happy saying I'm sorry?
He doesn't think so, but he thinks he's always the one who comes and apologizes and makes things okay, which I'll have to agree with right now. I hope he doesn't see this, but
he was sure to.
And no, but he does, and I think for me it takes a little bit longer because I like to first soothe myself.
Yeah.
But by the time I've soothed myself, he's already come and said sorry. So it's not my fault. I was going to.
Right. And this is like 3 days later.
I see you.
No, not 3 days later. Like in the same day. So I'm like just trying to like calm myself down and then go and like make the effort.
I agree.
Yeah. But then by that time he's already come and said sorry.
What's the longest fight you've had?
We try not to go to bed angry at each other.
I tried also.
Yeah.
But Kunal goes to sleep angry.
Yeah.
Like he gets angry and he falls asleep.
Yeah.
Oh, that
like
no.
It puts him to sleep.
So we genuinely try not to like go to bed angry. So like before the day gets over, he'll come and say, sorry, we'll try and make things okay, or give me a hug or something like that. But because he's learned that from his parents, and I think that's a
very
beautiful.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think that's really beautiful. And
I think it's beautiful because I can't go to sleep angry. So I'll be like, watch, and he's fast asleep. It's not like he's even pretending to sleep.
Yeah. And then you end up feeling more unheard, I'm assuming. At that
And I'm
point.
pulling the blanket, like sometimes I'll throw the blanket off. And like wait for him to wake up, and he'll be like, why is this blanket off me? And anyway, getting distracted. So the icks. Tell me about the icks. When do the icks become a red flag? Sometimes do you ever advise people to give up on the relationship?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Because, we need to be discerning of certain feedback or data that you receive over a period of time.
But can you give us some theoretical instances of like what would make you say that this is a red flag, or this is more than a red flag, this is toxic?
Okay, so just because you mentioned the ick, I just want to clarify. The ick is something that might not be very deep.
Yes.
Okay, right? So the ick might be something like my partner
choose loudly.
Yeah, or just
breathes loudly.
breathes loudly.
Yeah, that's after like 10 years of marriage. Right? Yeah. But so now Soha is going to like ask Kunal.
I'm just like, I should stop talking. It's not about me, guys. I have lots to say, but it's not about me.
Right. Yeah. So as Sona rightly pointed out, like chewing too loudly, something that bothers you, but you can live with it. It's not.
Also, you should not be watching reels without your earphones, no?
Yeah, like
volume.
Yeah,
correct.
Like,
so that is your ick. Sometimes you experience that, but these are not like life-changing things. Where you are feeling like on the front line. And red flags would be something like, for example, in a relationship, we have been in a relationship for 2-3 years, and every time a topic comes up, the conversation is deviated to another topic. Maybe that topic is marriage, for example, a commitment. Maybe they are in a situationship or wanting to create like a commitment out of it, or maybe they, there are talks of the past and the person cannot take it, and immediately it goes into a fight, blows up, becomes toxic or unhealthy in a way. And that is not like once or twice, because kabhi ho sakta hai, a person needs time to understand or take a step back and kind of be conscious about their reactions. But it happens every time over a period of years. As a rule of thumb, we should be valuing stuff like aligned vision, aligned values, like similar values, emotional
shared
safety,
goals.
Definitely, shared goals, all of that, right? And when there's a lack of, especially I think one of the biggest red flags is to be like, no, your stories don't add up, right? There's lack of honesty, or you're constantly on the edge of like, I can't trust this person, sometimes I trust or the lack of it, or even mild to feelings of insecurity with the trust pillar. I would say that you have to examine that pillar more. There might be some red flags waving there, which might become bigger red flags if you don't like really put your conscious effort into understanding where is this insecurity coming from.
Right.
So these are definitely some things I would say that qualifies as red flags.
What are some like non-negotiables for you in terms of green flags that you, or not even green flags, but things that you need to have?
I think respect is something that is of utmost importance. I think, and it flows both ways.
Yeah.
I need to respect my partner, and my partner needs to respect me. I think he's a very respectful person, not only to me but people around him as well. And I think that is the first thing that really caught my eye about him. He's very confident. He's very he takes care of my emotions. I think that is very, very important. He
That's
takes care of my feelings and my emotions. I think that is very important, and it's very rare.
Yes.
It's very important for a woman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's important and it's very rare.
Absolutely.
So to have been able to find that, I think I'm extremely lucky. And so I think these two things, just basically taking care of someone's feelings and emotions, and because I can be an emotionally overwhelming person, and to find someone to be able to kind of nurture that is nice. You know, and yes, respect.
Red flags. Is it okay that they're different for different people, or does there need to be a line in the sand? Like, are you giving too much of yourself by putting up with things, in your opinion, as a professional, that you should absolutely not put up with, or is it okay to say, like there was that movie Thappad? You know?
Absolutely not. Two things I definitely believe should be boundaries for a woman or a man, irrespective of gender or, you know, any situation in a relationship, maybe committed, marriage, jo bhi ho. Number one, abuse, like domestic violence. Physical abuse is a no-go. Emotional abuse तो बहुत लोग पहचान ही नहीं पाते हैं.
Exactly.
Right? So I'm not going into it. मैं ये नहीं बोल सकती अभी sitting here कि that's a no-go because नहीं है ये सच. Right?
Awareness नहीं है, वो
Correct.
पहचानते नहीं है.
पहचानते नहीं है. There is no right definition of अब हुआ था abuse. Right? But you know when domestic violence happens, you know it. There is a line. As somebody who might be, you know, watching this or like, you know, going through that right now, please speak out. Talk to somebody. Right? You don't have to suffer.
Yeah.
There are alternatives. There is hope. There are a lot of things except for you to just staying in it because of XYZ reasons don't do that to yourself. If you can manage to speak to somebody, do, and maybe there can be a right way around this. Yeah. But suffering through it is not the right way, basically. Yeah. And the second, I feel like, you know, a lot of people in today's world are very bothered by this and they want to make it work despite of this. And this might be a bit of biased thing because I also don't work with too many people or couples who come to me with this because it doesn't align with my core value as an individual, then a professional, is cheating. Going outside of your commitment to cheat and then to come back to wanting to make the commitment the same way it was before the hurt is kind of, you know, delusional. It's like, okay, fantasy, right? Maybe you can make it work. I'm not saying you cannot make it work, but it'll never be the same version that it was before it was untarnished.
Right.
Right? And there needs to be a lot of work put into it. And a lot of people are not. It's easier for a person to go back to cheating rather than to put in the work to repair after.
Sure.
So I think these are two things that I, you know, say that there are boundaries to it. These are no-goes, honestly. And if a person can build themselves up to that level to say that these are no-goes for me, you would have a much more happier, saner, peaceful, you know, mental health and emotional landscape.
I feel like we would need separate podcasts to go into each of these subjects, you know, whether it's domestic abuse or whether it's cheating, because just from real life experiences and friends, you would say that there's the person who strayed would say there was a reason. I was neglected, or I also had certain needs, and you know, I didn't want to, so there's constant conversation that can happen around what and where and why. But
and these, see, you know, you asked about red flags. This is a huge red flag. No accountability and defensiveness. Right?
Yeah.
हो सकता है कि बहुत सारा gap हो. Maybe the wife doesn't talk, maybe the husband feels neglected, whatever the reason is. But we are conscious beings.
Right.
Love, when we spoke about in the beginning of our session, it's a verb, it's an action, it's a choice. So when you are also going out of the marriage to do something or out of a relationship to do something, the first basic thing you can do is to show accountability. And be like, yes, I messed up, but then.
Right.
But it cannot be around, I had my reasons, right? And a lot of people outside of these topics also tend to default to this.
Right.
There's defense always. For example, why did you put the wet towel on the bed? मैंने तो नहीं किया, किसी और ने किया होगा, right? और गीला नहीं था, you know?
So shifting blame and not taking accountability and responsibility.
So again, yeah, that's a huge red flag.
What about like certain movies? You know, we've had Kabir Singh's and we've had Animal. There's a certain romanticization of, and I feel like a lot of movies do well in India, which are about pursuing and about the woman perhaps not giving in and then,
toxic relationship.
But these are these do really well. So I don't know whether it's a cycle and people see themselves in that or they emulate that, but it seems to be connecting with people, and that worries me.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. But what is that about?
I think people have a collective voice now. People are speaking up about, like, you know, Kabir Singh ka wo portrayal was not right, for example. Pehle to ye bhi nahi hota tha. And also the whole point of the pursuit of the girl, or like, you know, the man wooing and wooing till a point that, you know, it becomes almost like it's a privacy invasion, or like
stalking.
You know, like, you know, like real crazy stuff happening, right? People couldn't even challenge it in a way. And people, whatever you are exposed to over and over again, you get desensitized to, right? You feel like it's not a big deal. ये तो मैंने देखा हुआ है बहुत बार, right?
Exactly.
So that happens, and you get conditioned over a period of time to expect that as the norm. I think right now it's definitely changing.
Right.
The tides have shifted. There is collective voice. People are more opinionated. People know that, you know, this is right for me. But it would still work in today's scenario is maybe because the fantasy of like a damsel in distress is so lovely, and you know, we need like a person to come and rescue us, and there is a power play, there is a certain, you know, authority. Familiar लगता है हमें, इसीलिए शायद पसंद आता है. Relationships में भी ऐसा होता है. Like a lot of times we see unhealthy dynamics of our family members. Maybe our mom and dad have been in a very toxic marriage, but they have been, you know, together nonetheless. And I also attract somebody who's not particularly healthy for me. But because I feel like the narrative has already been fed to me again and again since I was a child, I am okay handling it more than a person who comes from a secure environment, who has never seen this kind of disrespect happening.
Right.
Right? So just because it's familiar to you doesn't mean it's healthy.
Right.
Sorry, I was just going to actually say that I have a different perspective on this in terms of movies especially, because honestly, like, I love watching crime dramas. That doesn't mean I want to go become a criminal also. You know, so if it's in a film, I'm probably, why people are liking it is because it's a nice story, it has nice music, it has nice actors, performances. Maybe the film was actually, you know, good and well directed and well performed and stuff, so maybe that's why they like it. The theme is something, like she said, maybe something that's familiar to them, which is why they resonate with it.
Right.
You know, like for instance,
It's not that deep
exactly,
at that moment for them.
Exactly. Today I played a cop in The Hard, where there's a serial killer played by another actor, but I mean that doesn't mean anything,
right?
You know, so I have a different perspective on that. I just don't want to generalize people's collective way of thinking, that it's all so toxic. I feel like sometimes people do watch it just for entertainment as
so
well.
you think the audience is able to distinguish between this is something that's happening on screen, but this
our
is
audience is
discerning and
And
smart,
that
is
is the
intelligent.
need of the hour, honestly. With the amount of, you know, information we are bombarded upon. We need to be more discerning. If you're not, you should be.
And that does make a lot of sense, what she says as well, because like growing up, we watched Cinderella, where she came from the most toxic family ever. They kept her in a broom cupboard, for God's sake, and like Prince Charming came and rescued her. So there are stories that are familiar, you've heard them growing up, and you know, so now they're being shown in a different way.
So there's more acceptance.
So I think, I don't think we should go so deep into it. I mean, entertainment is entertainment, can come in many forms.
What about red flags for you, Sona?
Gaslighting?
I thought you were going to say gas.
Also that.
What is gaslighting?
I think basically not acknowledging,
like it's my fault, making it my fault.
Not only that, basically making someone believe that what they're saying is not making sense, or you know, they're not acknowledging what a person is trying to put forth, and changing it to completely something else. I think that is a big red flag. I think another red flag is disrespect of any kind. whether in a personal space or in front of other people, I think that is definitely a huge red flag.
Yeah. I think it's just useful. I think that it's nice sometimes when people talk about things, because then other people recognize them when they see it in their own relationship. And the idea is not to get everyone to break up with their partners and say, the idea is just to maybe look at it from a different lens. Become more conscious and then truly decide, you know, this is something that I choose or this is something that I'm forced to do. I want to touch on the fact that when you got married, of course everyone was very happy and there was lots of comments and then there was lots of feedback and it sparked a sort of you know,
I don't know why everyone was so hot and bothered.
A conversation. But I also feel like typically when there is an interreligious marriage, even when we got married, even when Bhai and Kareena got married, then there's a conversation that happens. So did that influence you at all personally? Does that matter to you? Do you respond at all to that, or is it just noise?
It's just noise. It's absolutely just noise, because like you said, I'm not the first person who did it. I'm not going to be the last. And it's a grown-ass woman making a life choice, which people who I don't even know, everybody had a say in it for some reason, which I didn't understand. And it just felt all really stupid at that point of time. But honestly, it was all about us in that moment, and this was something that we were waiting for a very long time. And it was finally coming true. It was happening. And you know, we were just really thrilled and really ecstatic to be able to, you know, finally spend our lives with each other. And it was beautiful for us. And we kind of just cut out all the noise that was going on.
But is that difficult sometimes to do?
It is very difficult. It is very difficult, because especially at that point in time where you want nothing but positivity coming your way. And like she said earlier, you know, we live in a social media world. I had to put off my comments because I didn't even want to read a single negative thing on my big day about me or my partner or my family or anybody involved. And so I just put it off. So you have to cut out the noise.
I think some of these tools are there for a very good reason. Like the ability to block someone or to turn off that noise is very liberating. A couple of things again. Physical intimacy. I mean, I don't want anybody to go into any details. I certainly am not going to go into any details. But I feel like it's important, and like you touched on, like different reasons why people stay together. I feel like if you're attracted to someone, it's much easier to be with them. Obviously. It's also much easier to forgive fights and to put them behind you, literally put them to bed and to move on. But over time, you also become familiar to each other. Familiarity sometimes is not equal to attraction because there's nothing mysterious or new about the person.
The curiosity or the mystery.
Right, you've seen everything. And then somebody who is a stranger becomes a little more interesting. So then, if you typically, I'm only addressing people who want to be in monogamous relationships or marriages. How do you balance that? How do you keep the spark alive? How do you, like, is it role playing? Like, what can you do?
Physical intimacy is a big part of any relationship, right? And of course, as you rightly pointed out, if you are attracted to your partner, it's easier to let go. It's easier to, you know, it becomes a downhill battle, like, you know, in an easier way. Like, it's easier to just, like, you know, wrap things around or tie some loose ends maybe. But that's not the only solution. And sometimes what happens is that it's the most tangible way you feel loved. Okay? So a lot of people only know when there is good physical intimacy or when the physical intimacy fizzles out. We don't speak of other forms of intimacy like mental intimacy, emotional intimacy, spiritual intimacy, experiential intimacy, right? There are so many different verticals of intimacy that you can deep dive into. And the most tangible and the most, you know, commonly spoken about one being physical intimacy. When physical intimacy fizzles out, there are two ways to look at it. One, again, curiosity is missing kahin na kahin. So maybe you guys are too attached and have become codependent on each other to the point that it's almost like a caregiver relationship now, where, you know, the entire mental or emotional load I am taking up of the partner, whether they are doing their routines or maybe they are well and good. Yes, there's a difference between care and mothering. Between, and again, the same for like a man, like fathering or like, you know, partnering, right? Sometimes that balance goes for a toss. We don't like to speak about or dissect our parents.
No,
Indian
exactly.
society is touchy that way.
Sure.
Okay, so it's difficult as a conversation itself. But yeah, coming back to physical intimacy. So one is that losing that balance of like, you know, partnering versus mothering, and almost a parent-child relation is being duplicated. Unconsciously lean towards, because of, as women we are more nurturing, we might lean towards that. Or for a man, if he is financially, you know, or providing financially or otherwise, you know, he might lean and, you know, become too involved in a way that he's like nitpicking or trying to steer the partner in a direction that he envisions for, you know, her or something of that sort. And in that process, physical intimacy might take a toll. And the other one, I would say that we do not like usually point fingers at our own selves also, where our lives might have been stagnated over a period of time. We might have fallen into monotonous routines.
Sure.
We might have been too comfortable and being like, isko to hamesha se dekhti hu, like I don't make any efforts to go on dates anymore, or like, you know, dress up a certain way. I'm not saying that only then physical intimacy will thrive, but I'm saying that overall we shine the spotlight less on us over a period of time, and we are only like shining the spotlight on the other person, saying that you are my partner, why are things not going okay?
Yeah.
Right? So having accountability about the fact that you spice up your own life. What are you doing in your individual time? Is your work exciting you? Are your hobbies enough? Are you in a good mood in general? Do you feel physically fit?
Yes.
Right? Do you feel like you are taking care of yourself?
Yeah.
A lot of people in relationships and long-term relationships let go of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've been together for a very long time, but your
Yeah.
marriage is new. Do you think about things like, I'm sure you are as well, I'm very comfortable in front of Kunal in terms of like no makeup, and my mother told me when she got married, she used to wake up before my father woke up and she would put a little bit of rouge on and then she would go back to sleep because he was like, you know, Sharmila to go, should wake up to seeing Sharmila to go for a brief period of time. So in terms of, as I said again, it's early days, but do you think about things like that, like the effort in terms of the attraction, or like, do you just say that intimacy, that emotional familiarity, the trust and the security that comes with that, I feel like somewhere it comes at the expense of the mystery of intimacy?
I don't know. I actually don't think about it, because there's, I think at least with us, it's actually like beyond the looks. Like I feel like I'm attracted to him for so many other things other than his looks. Just the way that he is, just the way that he makes me feel, and you know, these are things that won't go away unless intentionally he plans to like you know be not nice to me or something like that. And of course, and he's somebody who's always made me feel confident no matter what size I'm at, no matter how I'm looking. I wake up in the morning, he takes the most bizarre pictures of me, and he's like, I ask him, I was like, why can't you just take normal pictures of me when I'm looking nice? He's like, no, because I find you so beautiful in that moment when I'm looking like a complete and absolute wreck.
That's how he sees you.
Exactly.
Green flag.
Exactly. So I can't argue with these things, you know, because at the end of the day, they do end up making me also feel good about myself.
Absolutely.
And like these are things that kind of just keep us going, you know, and I'm actually glad we've reached this point, because looks fade, you know,
100%.
And honestly, like y'all were discussing before that, you know, people get attracted to other people, you start looking outward, you get, like, not a minute in this relationship since I've started I've even remotely felt attracted to another man. Like it's just about I don't know, maybe I don't know, is it normal?
Relationship.
No, you can say that is an attractive man. But I'm not.
I do not want to like, you know,
pursue
actually do something.
No, I don't even get that feeling. Like I swear, I don't even get that feeling. Beyond looks, it's just about how you make each other feel at the end of the day. And I think when
absolutely
that sustains, you're good.
I think this is a great
place. You are good.
I think it's absolutely right whatever you're saying. I think it's a good way to bring this to a close. Just a couple of things, only because it's called All About Her, and I feel like, as you said, women are evolving. What about the dynamic of women in a relationship? Like, there's a male ego, there's also a female ego, there's female emotions and male emotions. It's always bit of a power struggle in a marriage, in a relationship between a man and a woman. Goes up and down.
Yeah.
I feel like in modern relationships, do people come to you with issues like that I am successful, I'm earning money, I'm out of the house a lot, maybe my husband is a home husband, I was having to be the parent more. Like in our family growing up, of course, my father was well off, but he was a house husband, he was at home, and my mother was shooting and all over the world. So my image was, it's okay, doesn't matter who goes to work, who is the breadwinner. But that I understand is not the same for everybody. So does that come up at all as a friction point in relationships?
It does. It does.
Or is it becoming more commonplace for it's okay for
People
both of them to be
trying
breadwinners and both of them to be like in transition phases of their careers, personally, professionally? People peak at different times and go up and down.
Right. So what's happening nowadays is that, while women are doing it all, they are truly doing all of it. Around the house, out in the office or at work. Even if you have the financial privilege to have like a staff, right? It's the woman who is guiding everything around. That needs to change for us to have better relationships. Otherwise, concepts like cohabitation and marriage are all going to dissolve in some time, right? So that, I feel like that balance is yet to be struck. People do struggle with this in general. Women feel more burdened by whatever is happening in the house and outside the house. Men also need to, understand the importance of sharing the mental load. And mental load is such a huge foreplay for people, honestly. If you take even 20% of a woman's mental load, emotional load, you will have a better time in the bedroom. Because foreplay always starts here and 100%. In the morning, not when you just want your bodily desires fulfilled. So if we look at stuff that way, even with physical intimacy, a lot is at play. But I hope the dynamics change and turn for the better, because they need to soon.
No, thank you so much. That is, it's been enriching for me. I feel like
this is a very good conversation.
I enjoyed it. I feel like it was a little bit of a session for me in many ways. And I'll take your number and we'll talk off screen. Just to wrap it up, one golden rule that, because I feel like I really, touch wood, tu. I hope you and Zahid continue like this. She's ever spitting at you. But it is beautiful on screen, off screen. It is beautiful, and I hope it continues. But one golden rule that you wish that every couple would follow to make love last.
I think stop trying to change each other. I think that is one thing that we've learned in our relationship. Because we started loving each other because of the people that we were. And if you try to change that, then there's no point really. And everybody likes being themselves. So things are just easier and happier.
That's a beautiful reminder. I think we all need to be reminded of this consciously.
Yes. That's true. Anything you would want to say?
Have the hard conversations. Don't tiptoe around it. It's only going to create a lumpy rug that you're going to, trip over one day. So you want to maintain relationships, whether it's with the parents, platonic friendships, brother, sister, sibling, whatever it is, build the skills to have the hard conversation. And also remember, while at it, one conversation does not change anything. You need to have multiple hard conversations, so you need to build the tolerance and resilience towards having those hard conversations. And then I think relationships will be fairly sorted.
Fairly sorted is a good thing to aspire towards. Thank you both for taking the time out and for sharing of yourselves.
For having us.
Thank you, Soha. This was lovely.
This
and
was actually really
Sonakshi,
nice.
for sharing
Thank you,
so beautifully, so authentically.
Really.
I really wish the best, for you and Zahid.
Thank you so
Loved
much.
hearing everything about, your relationship. And Soha, to you for being such a brilliant host and getting into our minds and really having the capacity to actually, have these deeper conversations.
Thank you. I think what today's conversation really reminded me is that love is not just one thing. It changes and it evolves and it grows with us. Whether it's about understanding your partner, whether it's about keeping the spark alive, or just even learning to love yourself a little bit better. Relationships need effort, they need patience, and I think above all, they need honesty. I want to thank you, Sona, for opening up and sharing a little bit of your relationship with us. And I really think that it's wonderful to see you and Zahir together. As I said earlier, I think it's a source of inspiration for so many people. But it's so nice that you keep it real. And I think that that's nice for other people to know also, is that there are real people behind what they see on the screen. And Kasturi, thank you so much. I thought you spoke beautifully with so much wisdom, explaining the why and the how, what goes on to making a relationship tick. If you're watching this at home, please do remember, there is no perfect formula for love. I think the idea is to keep showing up, keep communicating, and like Kasturi said, keep choosing each other every single day. Until next time, stay informed, stay healthy, and we will see you in the next episode.